welcome to Mind Your Business, the channel where we are in everybody's business. If you don't mind getting in people's business, you're on the right channel. Talking about current topics and gossip. Well, Martell and Marceau continue. And we've got Mel out here being very messy on her messy tea round. Let's talk about it, people. Welcome to my creative crew. Let's talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville, aka Love and Mugshots. So we saw last week where Marceau and Martell were going at it, and yes, they continued this week going at it. It got deep down in the gutter pretty quick. That's all I can say, because Martell was talking about all these bitches that they used to slam. I'm like, what in the hell is going on over here? And next thing you know, Martell's throwing Tisha's name into the mix. Now, I couldn't make out what was being said, people. Someone tell me in the comments, because it sounded like I had to rewind it a few times and I still can't work out all the bleeps. It was just bleep, 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 bleep. But it sounded like he brought in Tisha's name and it says, mentioned either someone that he knows, his brethren, slammed her back in college, and also sounded like he said that he could have done so as well. So I'm like, the disrespect. Because Tisha got up and said, well, that was in college. So I think it was that in college that you slept with his friend, or was that in college that you slept with him? Because he's chatting about how he saw it, like he saw what went down. So I'm just like, no, this is low blows, and I feel like Martell was out of order for bringing Tisha's name into it, because why did he need to go there? Like, you can stand up there and cuss off the man, chat about how he's fat, he was ugly and all this stuff, chatting about Tisha got bottom of the barrel. I was just like, no, you're going very far with this, and it's very disrespectful to Tisha in particular. And I was very annoyed that Marceau didn't say nothing. He didn't really defend his wife in that predicament. I'm like, all right, you two are going at it, you see this as banter, or maybe you are upset by it. We can tell you're still vexed about it, even though you're trying to dust it off like it's banter. But he brought up your wife and he's shouting and carrying on with himself towards your wife. That's not okay. Like, you should have dealt with his backside. You should have cussed off his backside, because he should not be handling up your woman like that. I was not here for that. And Destiny, why is she trying to walk off chatting about, oh, she's leaving now? You started all this mess. You asked the damn questions. You wrote the questions and you started with Martell. Like Tisha said, it's your friend. So you really know how the man stays. So, no. Her trying to skedaddle away at the end, I was just like, please, girl, you started this whole mess. So I don't know why you're trying to act like, oh no, one of you guys have got to leave and, it's getting out of hand. No, you ask the stupid questions, and you still, after their first mix-up, you then come back with another question to try and talk about, oh yeah, well, who's shut up for you more? And then, of course, Marceau started off again. So yeah, no, I'm not here for Destiny trying to act like she was the person that's hard done by when she started all the mix-up in the damn first place. So she should definitely be taking a seat and being quiet with that one. Now, Marceau did make me laugh, throwing shade at Martell, talking about, he showed him how to not lose marriage for a shareable side chick. I was like, oh, that one stung, because your shareable side chick is the mother of your child. So, yeah, I know that must have stung a little bit, but I still feel like, even if that did sting, that was no reason for him to be going at Tisha that way, so disrespectfully, knowing that he knows their kids, he knows the family. Yes, you're upset with Marceau. Keep it at Marceau. Just don't bring her name into it. I thought that was really bad. I just felt very bad for Tisha. And I don't blame Kimmy for trying to stick up for Tisha to say, well, no, look, at the end of the day, Marceau, your wife Tisha is catching strays. What your friend is there screaming up in her face, basically, and he didn't really back it. I was just like, Marceau, like, you might be fat when you was younger, maybe you got bullied when you was younger, but you have a wife now. Stand up for your wife. Like, what the hell is this nonsense? Anyway, later on we see Tisha and Marceau go to the jewelry store. Now I'm like, why had this man been walking around for years without a ring on his finger? How is Tisha talking about, oh yeah, he doesn't want to wear the ring, and he's moaning about, when she's asking him about the symbol, what does it mean to you? He's chatting out the fart, chatting about, it's a sign of obedience. Shut your mouth. You got married in front of God, did you not? So isn't that a sign of obedience to your marriage? What the hell? I was like, Tisha, you got time, love. You've got time. That would have just pissed me right off. But again, she doesn't allow a lot of it, and I feel that's because, she finds it hard to push back at him. He's very clever the way he deals with her, and I don't feel like, Tisha necessarily the brightest tool in the box, but I just feel like he definitely knows how to handle her, and it really annoys me when I see him doing it to her. I'm just feeling like, Tisha, no, say something. Like, I want her to find her voice a bit more and push back on him, because he's out of order. So he's been walking around all this amount of time, how many years or how long he's been without a ring? No. But if she was out here like that, should she take the same approach and be like, you know what, therefore I'm not going to wear my ring? How about that? Like, what is this nonsense? And then she was saying that they've been having a hard time. The last few years have been really difficult for her.
particularly with the rumours, because clearly with the way Martell was going on and saying, well, Tisha needs to check his this and check his that, they keep bleeping out everything. But you can tell it left some seeds of thought in her mind to think, oh, even though she said, oh, he's lying, she kept up a good, solid front for the cameras. But that deep down, that is penetrated and that has definitely got her thinking, which is why she is now like, you know what, put your ring back on your finger, man. And this man's been travelling. Remember, he went to Africa and he's been travelling here and there. So how long has he been travelling without a ring on his finger? Talking about, oh yeah, that I look married. He just chats a load of nonsense. I just want to slap him in his face with that faciness that he has there. I'm sorry. Yes, maybe I have anger issues, but no, we're not having that. What the hell? Anyway, and I thought it was interesting when she spoke about them talking about not being together, but deciding to stay together and fight for their marriage. But I still feel like he's out here, doing whatever he's doing because he's able to manipulate and handle Tisha the way that he does handle her. And obviously, we're not seeing her mum, this season because she's caused so much mix-up. But I will say the one thing that is good about her is that she stays in her daughter's corner when it comes to him and his foolishness. Anyway, now I thought it was interesting when Tisha was saying that she spoke to Destiny and, she wanted to apologise for the whole situation. I'm like, apologise for what, Tisha? You were sitting there and you got blasted, you got blindsided and you caught some strays because of your man and his ex-friend going back and forth, because like I said last week, that friendship is dusted. I don't see that coming back out of nowhere, because the way he disrespected the man's wife and the way it went, I just don't see it. Marcel was just saying, he feels like Martell is a loose cannon and basically, he's a liar, and look at the way he treats the mother of his children. He'd do that to anyone. Whilst it's a very true point, the way he treats the mother of his children, Marcel, you can also be quiet, because I remember seeing times when you were definitely taking sides with Martell, and Melody had to tell you about your backside a few times too. So it's now convenient. Now you want to be bringing her up to as your defence case now that the man's throwing you under the bus. Anyway, now Tisha and Mel sit down. I thought it was interesting because I'm like, Mel's going around, talking about she's getting feedback on her trip. She ain't getting no feedback. She's going around looking for her tea, yeah? She wants to talk about this DUI situation again. I'm like, didn't you just speak about it to Kimmy last week? She didn't give you much information. So now you're like, right, let's go for Tisha. I can hopefully squeeze some information out of her. But Tisha was not stupid. I was like, okay, I was here for Tisha, because she was like, kept it cool at first. They had the little niceties at first. And then it was like, well, how much her ex-husband embarrassed her, so she knows that it must have been hard for Kimmy, and then she's bringing up Maurice's DUI and how much Martell embarrassed her and how it must be embarrassing for Kimmy, and Tisha just was taking it quite nicely. We're just saying, obviously we were all worried and glad that no one was hurt, doing the right thing. But then Melody just kept digging and digging and digging. And I was just like, Tisha done well. She was like, well, she held the fort down, which is what she's going to do. That's her brother-in-law. Like, what was Mel thinking? Is she going to just throw her brother-in-law under the bus? That's not going to happen. But also, sidebar, because of the way it feels like Melody keeps going after these guys, I feel like she's obviously annoyed because of the way, things have transpired over the seasons. But take the high road. What is all this? It comes across like she's trying to, have everybody else experience what she's experienced in terms of being embarrassed by their husbands. It feels like that's what she's out here to gain, to, be petty and be like, well, see, look, it doesn't feel good when it happens to you, does it? It feels like it's coming from a bit of that place. But I felt like Tisha done quite well. Even when she brought up the lipstick situation, whilst granted it does look weird because it does like it's a tint of red. So, but that could be lipstick, but that could also be wine or something he was drinking or something. So I could see why Tish said that. I can understand Mel trying to poke, but you didn't even say that to Kimmy. Where was all this energy when you met with Kimmy? You didn't say that to her. So why are you coming with energy to Tisha? Tisha quite rightfully shut it down, was like, no, I don't believe that. I just think people just reach in, not at all. And she called her Investigator Mel. Took her food, left Mel the check and was like, all right, I'm out. I'm not trying to get drawn into this. And I thought, you know what, Tisha? You've done the right thing there. So I don't really blame her in that. Mel, I feel like she's coming off as this person that is trying to rub salt in the wounds of the people on the cast. And I feel like she could come across much better than that. Why is she doing this? It's making her look bad now. I feel like people have been supportive of her in terms of the public perception. But now I feel like because she's doing these little antics, it's making her look messy. But also I thought it was interesting, Mel was saying, oh yeah, she thinks that, Tisha made a pact, not to say anything to Scott. So I'm like, well, yeah, they're family. Why are they going to do that? So when she's trying to go in and say, well, he's on there, with a bottle in the hand and talking about Free Maurice and it just doesn't look good and he should have came on and said something else. I get the motivation if you've lost somebody to a DUI situation. It's triggering. Obviously, Tisha's not going to sit there and co-sign everything that she's saying because that's still her family at the end of the day. So, let's be real. Now, Destiny and Martell, of course, Destiny goes to meet up with her brethren, Martell, and he does apologise, kinda, because he says, I kinda owe you an apology. I was like, okay, love. But he did ask her, why did you start off by asking me the questions? And she was like, well, I wanted to move the friendship on. You brought up this when we met up before. You were saying how you felt a certain way. But of course, in the story, Martell is just doubling down on what he's been saying. This man is not looking to back down at all. There's no apology coming whatsoever. When Destiny is telling him to apologise to Tisha, how much she caught strays and missiles basically, and he was out of order. And he just said, well, look, she accepts what he does. They are one essentially. And so, they have to go down together. I was just like, what the hell is wrong with this man? He's like, well, she accepts it. Mel knows it. I know it. He was in a relationship with somebody else for a couple of years. Basically, he's saying that Tisha knows that he's cheated. And that's what he was kind of going with. Martell's like, yep, he ain't trying to apologise to nobody. In fact, he's looking to go harder. And yeah, he feels like Tisha accepts it and he knows some stuff. And whilst I feel like he does know some stuff, there's no receipts yet. So this is still not hitting where it needs to hit. It's just ridiculous. It's a mess, in all honesty. In all honesty, it's a mess. Because when you think about how the show really started off and what it is now, it is absolutely crazy. I do like the drama, but I also like to see progressive black people too. So it was good to see a little scene where we saw Chris and Marceau, talking about business and development before they cut to speaking about, Martell, and Marceau lets it be known that friendship is done, brethren. No more. He ain't having it. He is over it. He says that he's a liar and basically, of course mentions, he don't have no respect for nobody. Look how he calls your wife a side chick. He said it before, and he ain't got time for people in his life to be apologising and doing the same shit over and over again, which I get it. I can't even be upset with that. I get it, but I can tell Marceau is definitely on the no, it's not happening, mate. Season is up, everything done, wrap up, lock off, done. That's how he's on. So yeah, no surprises there. But like I said, that Marceau to me is not an innocent person. The way he handles his wife really irks me. But again, if she loves it, then that is her business. Now, Trisha and Mel, the last two to meet up, I just thought was rather random because they haven't had any reason to meet up. So we know Mel doesn't have no major storyline at the moment. It just seems like she's definitely, just here to get the tea and organise the trips and events. So she's met up with Trisha, and I thought this was an interesting sit down because clearly Mel had quite a few questions, and I get it, because once you hear that, this woman has been in your yard with your ex-husband, of course you're going to be coming at it a little bit like, well, let me get some more facts on this, because when was this? So she's basically grilling her, trying to ask her, when was it? What house did you go to? When was this? When was this in 2020? And of course, Trisha is just bouncing around the question. So she's making herself look like a liar, as she does, because she never can answer anything straight. So that was just annoying. So Mel's just looking at her like, girl, you're just lying in my face. And Trisha's like, oh, well, I don't remember this, I don't remember that. Yeah, I went to the house, but it was white. Yeah, the driveway was kind of, like any other driveway. Like, she just wasn't giving the answers, which just made it look even worse. I just felt like it was quite weird. Particularly as I know in the confessionals before, she mentioned how, she was separated and how Martell was also separated. So where was that energy? Where was the whole, well, as far as I knew, you were separated, blah, blah. Mel kind of checked her on the whole, well, did you know about this whole narrative about you going to his house and all this stuff was going around the group before you were invited on a trip? Now, she acted like she didn't understand the question. And then she got to the answer, which was, yes, she did know. And Mel was right to say, actually, she could have pulled her aside, or she could have just said to her, just so you know, this is what might come up, so it didn't blindside her. Even though it is her ex-husband, but I felt like, one, she was annoyed to know that this woman was in her yard, and she just wanted to know what was happening. What was it? And to me, Trisha should have been straight up and been like, you know what? Actually, I was pissed off because my situation was in this situation. As far as I knew, you lot weren't together, or I didn't know about you. But if you're in the man's house, I'm thinking surely there's signs of family and signs of things like, it's giving very dodgy behaviour. That's all I will say. Very dodgy behaviour. But anyway, long story short, Mel's feeling like, well, if Trisha hangs out with the rest of the ladies on the show, then they don't know nothing about no girl code anyway. So she's basically on the same kind of wavelength. Now, I thought it was an interesting episode. I feel like the ones that are coming out at the moment seem to be coming in quite hot and quite dramatic and drama filled. But, you know, I'm here to sip some tea and see what I got on. But next week is looking interesting. You've got Martell basically still vexed with Marceau, saying F Marceau. You've got Mel meeting with Marceau and Tisha, bringing up something about getting a text on Martell. And I'm like, a text on Martell? I thought you guys didn't speak, which is why you guys are not able to film together. And yeah, I'm going to have to wait and see what happens next week, because that one definitely threw me off a little bit. Then there's a scene with Mel, Trisha, and Trisha's husband. So I'm like, how are they there together in the scene? Like, what's happening there? So, and Trisha looks like she's kicking off. So yeah, I want to know what I've on there. But anyway, I thought the episode was interesting. Like I said, Marceau and Martell, I think their friendship is done. That is it. Everything block off. But Mel, I feel like she's just being messy Mel at the moment, but she needs to be aware of herself, because I feel like she's coming across quite negatively, very mix up and messy, like you're just trying to have other people have your kind of downfall. Like, essentially, you stood your ground, you didn't want to accept the cheating, and you moved on. Tisha, well, she might be, you know, accepting the cheating and staying in her marriage. And Kimmy, you know, we don't know anything yet. We just know you trying to bring that rumour to the show about the lipstick and all this kind of stuff, but we haven't seen anything about Maurice like that. So it does come across as if, you know, your marriage has gone through its whole madness, but you're seeking the downfall of others to a degree. And I don't feel like that's not the side that she should be kind of feeding into, like lean into the positive side like she was doing before and rising above all the bullshit. If you want to get some of the tea, go to Maurice, go to Kimmy. Like, the way she done the whole Tisha thing, but well done to Tisha. Anyway, of course, I went to go and check out social media and see what people were saying on there. Here are some tweets that had me cracking up. Okay, so you've heard what I had to say. You've seen those tweets. Now, what are you saying about the show? Let me know your thoughts below.
Yes, so thanks for watching that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell so you know when I am uploading some more of people's business. So until then, my nosy people, stay blessed.